Hi, Texas Tech Red Raiders and beyond, because I know there's Red Raiders and beyond that watch this show. Welcome to Seeing Scarlet. We talk all things Texas Tech sports. I'm Sibby. That's Shelby. And we have some things to cover. It feels almost like a light week, I think, in some of our sports. Soccer getting a break. But still, nonetheless, we got things to talk about, y'all. So welcome in. We're going to get started with soccer. They went duck hunting, y'all. And my goodness, did they come home with a harvest. A 5-1 victory over the Oregon Ducks. At home, great to see for Texas Tech soccer. Texas Tech volleyball with their Red Raider Invitational. They went 3-0. They beat Northern Arizona, Florida Atlantic University, and Green Bay. So huge for volleyball. Way to show out at home. That's good stuff. And then we'll wrap things up with football, and we'll talk about that for a little bit. But they lost to Washington University 37-16. And
Washington State, but yeah.
Sorry, Washington State. Sorry.
We
can't do that. I can't do that. I did it, and I did it. But yeah, late game. It was fun to see still the Red Raiders that were up and doing the dang thing. I think saw Rob we're still doing this.
Yeah, God bless you, Rob. He had
I was like,
post-game
the troops are
show.
out.
I mean, that's true professional right there. So if you're watching this, shout out to you, because good
That's
job.
right. Yeah.
These are the times that are hard. We've been here. We've only been at this for about a year and a half, going on 2 years. But we've had seasons with different sports where sometimes things just start going wrong for you. Plenty of time for football to get it back on track, though. We'll talk about them at the end.
Yeah.
First, let's give a shout out to all our favorite fan in the chat, Bentley.
I miss you, Bentley. The first time I met Bentley, I walked into a Cap Rock Cafe, and the rest was history. And what a place to start a friendship. So,
Bentley.
Big Cat, Texas Tech basketball. We talking about, hey, we've been through some hard times. You know, we know the stories, what the stories can be, and how exciting it is to be a Red Raider during the times of hardship and adversity. And when you go through it in the tough times, and then you can really celebrate the good times, like what we did this past week against Oregon. 5-1. We got some highlights for y'all. We haven't had a Sunday break since the start of the season, so it kind of felt weird in the way of the slow week was happening. It was because we got one game to talk about, and then we got some info on who they got coming up. But yeah, a 5-1 win against Oregon. The Oregon Ducks came to town. It was cool to see that set up. The crowd looked great. I know I was texting Shelby about that. It was good to see the crowd show up as they did. And so our goal scorers and assists, all that good stuff. We had 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. I think they're
stupid.
Yeah, there's a quote from the post-game, the press conference with Story Sexton and Ashley Williams. And Ashley talks about the game plan of being we're starting fast, we're starting strong, and they did. All 5 of their goals happened in the first half. So, and that's when Oregon went up by 1. And I don't even remember when that happened. And I was kind of hoping that it would be somewhere that would be quick for me to find. I'm sure I can go to Oregon's Twitter, but I didn't even see that goal happen, and then they didn't really talk about it, and I was like, how did that goal happen?
How did Oregon score?
Yeah, I don't even remember
I still don't
that
know.
happening.
Oregon didn't post it. I guess they were embarrassed of the score. They never even posted their own.
Oh, they
thing,
didn't? I was like, maybe
I
if
went to their Twitter page and
effort.
couldn't find it, and I was like,
oh man,
did it happen? Are we sure that they scored? No, it
I just
definitely
did
happened.
not see what happened.
It was one that you don't. I think they said after the game, it was one of those sloppy goals, which has been a lot of the ones we've given up. Just kind of lost our focus, I think. And and I would say credit to that Oregon forward, though. She was pretty relentless. I gained a lot of respect for her. She was like, I'm not going to let my team go down like this, and she was
we're going down swinging.
The broadcast described it as, because I was looking away too, and then I tried to go backwards and it wouldn't let me. It was weird. So I legit I still to this day have not seen that goal happen. I couldn't find a replay. It won't let me rewind on the broadcast. There was a glitch. Don't really know what happened, but the broadcast said something like a tackle turned into a shot. So I don't know if she slid in to tackle it and then just shot off of it. But she had a couple of other dangerous moments in that second half. You could tell she was fired up.
She was threatening for sure.
She took whatever we did to them in the first half personal, which I don't blame them because we dominated that first half. That's about as good a soccer as you can play. I don't care who your opponent is. No,
That's
Oregon's not a Big Ten contender, but they're still a power conference team with power conference talent. And they kept saying that goalkeeper was like the #1 goalkeeper in California out of high school or something, like the 5th overall goalkeeper out of high school in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked more like that in the second half. She made some really good saves on us in the second half, but
true,
we weren't giving her a chance. I mean, these goals, we'll show the highlights, but these goals were beautiful. Like they weren't, they were
good.
all like, did they all have double assists? The first couple were like, and I mean, just beautiful assists too. Like you could tell that, like the plan was like so. It was just great. The way you'll see that in the replay and the highlights of it, and we just knew what we were doing. And it just seemed like, and I think they said that in the post-game presser, like the scout, a scout is that good when, one, they talk about it in the post-game press conference like multiple times, and two, it looks that easy.
Yo, that's a good point.
Like
and that's
we knew exactly where we were
coach,
supposed to be, and like if we went there, we knew we were going to get a goal. Like it was wild how well prepared and well coached that team was, and how they just came in ready to go. And when you have that talent, and then Macy Blackburn,
oh my gosh,
had both a goal and an assist within 5 minutes of the game,
as she does.
She's absurd. She plays outside. She's a defender. She's a defender.
Is she, Shelby? She's everything. She's her.
It's absurd. And she, by the way, she tied the all-time career assist record on that assist. So one more, and she's the record holder, but she's got time yet. So
looking at all of my notes that I typed in here, that is so
my bad.
true.
Sorry.
No, it's like that's what's so nice. I mean, if you're bummed about American football, come watch this soccer team, because there's so many powerful storylines that are happening each game so far this season. And so we'll talk about what Shelby just said. Macy Blackburn scored the first goal, and it is such a powerful goal. Like we'll go through the highlights. Assisted by Molly Skarzinski. Ashley Williams scores a goal in this match. We have been waiting, Ashley, and it came at a perfect time. It looked great. It was a very Ashley goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like every part about it, I was like, hey girl, missed ya. Glad you're here. And she was assisted by Macy in that goal. So another really cool storyline. They were talking about how can we incorporate Macy back into our game plan, and know that is such a huge component for the whole team, but Ashley too. And so the connection was great. I love that it was assisted by Macy. That was just a perfect first goal of the season for Ashley Williams. So excited to see her continue to cook, and including in the cooking process, Story Sexton, coming back from an injury this season. She was our 3rd goal scorer for this match, which is huge. Her first one of the season, assisted by none other than the Elise Anderson and Peyton
I believe
Parsons.
That's her first career goal, actually.
Oh, first career goal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right? The injury. Come on. Yeah, that makes sense. And this is a really great goal. You'll see, but if you don't see it right now, go watch the artwork that Shelby put together I think it was of this play.
I was befuddled.
And you know what? And like, honestly, Shelby, maybe don't even talk about it and just send people to that video, or maybe we can pull it up. I don't know, but it is absurd what we saw, what we witnessed from those 3 players, and the give and goes. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Our next goal scorer was Skylar Hawsey, assisted by Alana Harry. That was a really great goal, seeing Skylar stay with the speed of Alana Harry and just continuing to stay onside and prepared to score, to pass, to be that teammate. And Skylar did it so seamlessly that she ended up being the goal scorer. So that was huge.
It was disrespectful.
My bad.
Yes, you got it. All right, we're gonna play all that artwork that Shelby
I don't even know if we
cooked up
need
for
it,
us.
but if we need it when we get there, we can just talk about it when it gets
cool.
on there. But
we can.
You asked for it, so I'll pull it up.
I appreciate it, buddy. And then Caitlin Bug Giametta with the penalty kick to put us up 5-0 going into halftime, and then that Oregon goal was scored later on in the 68th minute, I believe. So those were your goal scorers. The assists, we'll go through the highlights, and this was huge for a lot of different players. So let's go ahead and get into it. Don't blink because you'll miss it. That kind of thing, and I kind of like
versus the big.
Yeah.
Do you want the sound on?
Well,
Or
I kind of do. I like the commentary. I think it adds to the hypeness.
I mean, Macy.
This girl started from like the parking lot running, and
She really ran. I mean, that was a great ball up,
midfield.
probably from Molly.
And didn't
I'm
let
guessing.
up. So this is our first goal of the match,
Left,
right inside the box.
Goal, Red Rader.
I just love this goal because you can see that Oregon defender, like, they just expect her to pass because, like, they know who Macy Blackburn is.
Do they?
And she's like,
expect
okay,
that?
what I was taught all week is this girl's gonna find the open girl, So she's like backing off her, staying over there with
You
I don't know
don't
who's
do
on
that.
the outside over there if it's Ashley or who. And she's
That
like,
should be in the
can't
scouting
let
report.
her pick us apart. Can't let her pick us apart. And Macy's like, you're
I'm
gonna
sorry,
give me
yeah.
this much space? The disrespect. Launched it and killed it. So
You
that's
can-
just like
yeah.
another thing that Macy has in her bag that, hey, if you're gonna back off me like that, yeah, I can shoot it. She
And
took
you
one
can
in Utah
Smashed
State,
out in
almost
front
made
of Macy
that.
Blackburn, who's
In
full
the
stride.
post game, see, look at that defender just backing off her,
Ashley
not
Williams
coming
to
up
the
on
left.
her because they're so worried about the defenders on either end, like her just getting it to them because she would.
I know.
If they would have stepped up on her, she would have passed it and we would have scored. We
and
were going to
Peyton
score on that
Parsons is
play
here. Like
more than
another-
likely either way,
He-
and she got it done. So
Oh yeah, it's kind of weird seeing not Peyton Parsons on the goal scoring list.
yeah,
I was
well,
just
we
realizing
scored
in the-
5 goals in this game, and you're going to see them, and not a single one came from our 2 current leading scorers on the season, in Peyton
Right.
and Z. Peyton is part of one of the goals, though. She has an assist in this game. She was
She
still
does
very
a
heavily
huge.
involved.
Oh,
Z had a couple of had one saved in the second half.
yeah,
They were
but
still
you-
doing exactly what they do, but it's just cool to see that there's a lot of different scoring on this team this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you can see in this this freeze frame of Macy, the ball's already kicked, but that goalie already being so out of position because that was just not. It's almost like
That
you
was not
don't
in the scouting
expect it.
report.
You don't expect it because she can do that. She's capable of just taking it off the foot right there. I don't need space. But if you're gonna give it to me, I'm gonna use it for its full capacity, at its full capacity. And that's just the brilliant player that Macy Blackburn is. This is her comeback season. This is her season coming back from an injury, and it is such a lovely journey so far. So really cool to see.
She's
that
already
happen.
leading the Big 12 in assists, and she's
Oh, I
only
bet.
played 3 full games. Well, not even full games. She's not
Yeah,
playing full
she's
90s.
Not playing full.
She's
90s
tied with
yet.
Molly. Molly and her both have 4, and they're both tied for first in the Big 12 with assists. They're like 6th nationally or something.
And I love that you said tied with Molly, because it's like Molly Skarzinski is it like, yes, she has an assist in this match too, but like what a huge part she's been playing in so many different ways. So.
yeah, that Molly
Shot.
assisted on that.
Goal,
That was that
Red
long pass.
Raiders. Amazing. And Macy Blackburn
You know,
just takes
in
it.
our celebrations, I noticed like we know how to give a really good hug. Like I'm almost like
I feel
y'all are
like
gonna
that's
play
Macy's like thing. She just jumps up and down and goes and hugs everybody.
really good hugs on this team. So
Oh,
Macy
speaking of
Blackburn
Macy, what a
serving
ball.
a perfect ball. Ashley blocking out as she does. and just bulldozes through.
I mean, that was an Ashley Williams goal. This celebration, you
Yes.
can tell how happy the team was for her because she's been working. She was
Working.
working the last couple of matches for sure, and they just weren't going in for her, man.
And she, but
And
she's
so, like
been
Roger says in
knocking.
the chat,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if absolutely necessary, but it's certainly nice for her to get off that 0 there and get going. But she's been so close for a few games now,
She's been
and
knocking
I mean,
on the door.
and she
Yeah.
had to work for this one too. This was not an easy one. Like she blocked that girl out, if you will, and then just patient. She showed a lot of patience on that goal and just snuck it past the keeper. And because I mean, there wasn't much of a space really where the defenders had her.
There's
had
a
her
reason
in
why
the
she was
keeper, and she
hurdling
found a way
like
to
those
squeak it
horses
past them.
do. She out there with that horse energy, hurdling over that keeper. I just that commitment that no matter what, I'm going to score this goal. Like Roger said, long overdue. I mean, we are so stoked by this moment for her, and seeing the team celebrate in the way that they did around her. It's just like there's a bigger story here that is really fun to witness. And shout out to Ashley. That was awesome to see.
Good.
Hype as always.
There's Peyton.
Yeah, her
Your
going.
eyes get big.
and-
Oh,
oh,
this
God.
play, dude.
Yeah,
it's the
this
play.
play is the one we're about to talk about.
You
First
go
off,
ahead, Shelby.
I loved Ashley. We're gonna gif it. Don't worry, the high fives down the sideline.
Oh yeah.
A
Thanks.
plus celebration. But this
Thank
is
you.
the play that we talked about. We can pull up here. We'll just pull up this other one, and I'll turn the audio off because you don't need to hear my voice in this one. But it breaks it down, and Sibby can break it down
That's
with
true.
actual soccer knowledge. But I was befuddled by this play. I don't know if it was scouted and we just, like, this was like a set play, if you will, because it almost looked they knew what they were doing. They're like, yeah, they're going to jump on us. I'm going to go over here. Like, I feel like it looked planned. It was so well executed. It's
Elise is at
great.
a full sprint right now. Like, she's at a full sprint.
So this is the video that we already posted. I turned the sound off because you don't need to hear me. We can talk over it, but it'll show you how ridiculous this play is. Look how many people are surrounding two of our people.
Yeah, look at the color of the jersey.
And then Peyton, this flick, like, it's so, like, they clearly worked on that in some fashion. Or she just pulled that out of her bag. I don't know. And then again, you can't even see a Texas Tech player in the box in frame. And Elise knows that someone's cutting in. She knows they're going to be there. And she gets it in there. It's just, this goal is just pure
Chef's
soccer
kiss.
Brilliance. And someone asked me this on Twitter. They're like, if someone tries, everyone always tries to downplay things because they hate their life, I guess, but they can't just enjoy nice things. And they're like, yeah, but, like, there's no, like, they're like, how did those defenders not get that ball? It goes right between them. I want you to watch this. It's a nuance to it, but watch Elise.
Don't break their brain, Shelby.
Don't break their, I did break this person's brain. They're like, oh my God, I see it now.
Oh my gosh,
so,
you criminal.
it might have already happened. Let me go back. So watch the hesitation that Elise does. You can see it better in the video the team posted, but you'll see her do like a little pump fake right here. You see that? And that pump fake brings, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it. It brings that defender, she takes a step to the base line, if you will, the inline, and then that creates that gap, and she's thinking, and you think they can react that well? The sun's right in her face, all these factors. And then she just zips it right between them. So I don't want to hear all that stupid shit. Like, as if it was luck. Like, that was just, it was just great, well-timed. And that little hesitation.
Talent.
Little hezzy, bringing basketball terms.
I know.
The little hezzy from Elise Anderson really got that gap to open up a little bit more. And that's all the space she needed because they couldn't recover after that.
Couldn't recover after that. And yeah, Story being in the place that she was, prepared, ready for that service. It very well
absurd.
Orchestrated. Beautiful. Wow.
She made it look so easy.
So good. Cool.
You can
Wow, that
watch
was
the
great.
real highlight now.
That's the side of a score
hezzy.
right
The
there.
give and go, the
What a
hezzy.
great cross!
One touch. I only need one
that
touch.
girl was in a blender.
Story,
Her brain was frozen in time.
Who's waiting on the end of that one?
And
the
that
ball
was
on the
a
ground,
pretty
and
simple
Sexton
little tap in
with a
for your
left
first career
instep
goal.
nudges
I know,
it past
for real.
the keeper. And the Red Raiders are on a run here tonight. Goodness,
so true.
3-0.
Molly, yeah.
Ossie with her first touch.
This
is a
goal
dandy
was
pass
spicy as
here.
well.
Skylar, one
to a
touch
streaky
pass to Alana.
Herring.
Look at her staying.
The patience,
Cross it
Alana,
to her
ready. And then
Ossie with the chip.
that timing
Goal,
of the
Red
pass
Raiders.
from Alana. The timing of the pass from Alana after making that competitive, athletic as shit run. And then look at that timing complemented by Skylar's timing for the
Cross it to her
connection.
left. Ossie
That's
with
a one touch. She didn't have any other. I don't need any of that jibba jabba. I'm going to put it in the back of the net. And I love seeing this from Skylar. This is such a cool, like, all the different players, all the different faces. Our bench is so deep, and it's really fun to see these players making huge impacts. Some just high quality soccer, like you said.
Yeah, it's just
I'm with you.
beautiful soccer was played in this game. Like, if they can keep this up, like, this is how you overcome losing the individually talented players, like the Sam Corrett that can pull some crazy stuff out of her bag and do something on her own when you need it. You overcome that with brilliant team soccer from a lot of really, really good elite soccer players, in the case of, like, Macy Blackburn for sure. But everyone's just playing so well together right now in the chemistry, and you just don't know where the attack's coming from. And it's about to get a lot harder as we get into Big 12 play, and we'll keep growing up. But this was just great. I mean,
It was awesome. And
Molly, the one touch.
great
Skylar's playing
pass.
so well right now.
And, like, look how Alana, like, beats this defender in. And then
Easy. Just easy.
out of all the options
That
that
shot
she
is
had.
stupid. It reminds me of the one last week from
So
Z,
good.
where she swung before the ball even got there on the Macy assist last week. That was the same thing. Like, just the trust in their ability right there. There's no hesitation in these forwards, these midfielders that are swinging up there. It's good to see.
That's right. Wow.
I
So
love it. Yeah, they just played really confident in that first half and got it done. PK from Caitlin Giametta, Bug. She earned this PK. It's clearly not in the highlights, but she's the one that got tackled in the box. She forced the issue. They had to bring her down or she was going to get a shot off, and so the team rewarded her by letting her shoot the PK as well.
That's right. And buried it.
Goal, Red Raiders.
Hype about it. Good to see. I mean,
5-0.
5-0
That
going
poor
into
keeper
halftime.
was like, I mean.
I
Red
would love to
Raiders
hear.
win it 5-1.
And then it just skips to the end of the
Stay
game because
undefeated at home.
there wasn't a lot going on in the second half for us. We did have a couple of close chances, especially in
Yeah.
the first 20 minutes. We still kind of looked similarly, almost as aggressive as we did in the first half. I think Peyton had one that this keeper had to jump up really high and save. Maybe Z or someone else had one on a corner or something where they had to save. But then there was still some moments in that second half they're going to learn from. They were playing a lot of different people in different spots as well and getting a lot of people some time. So I think it's almost like the perfect way for that game to go, to play. I'm not saying it was their ceiling in that first half, but that was pretty dang good soccer.
It was good.
No
It
matter
was
who you
good
were
to
playing,
see.
that was beautiful soccer.
Good start.
And
starting
to
fast.
dominate anybody 5-0 in one half is not easy in soccer. Scoring goals is not easy to do in soccer. And 5 in one half is stupid. And then to have that second half and having a team adjust. They changed some things, or we just changed our intensity. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not a soccer coach, but that's something that they can learn from.
Yeah.
Watch the film and have something to kind of keep them grounded as if they need it. This is one of those programs where you don't really have to worry about in that way. We just kind of trust them to be prepared. And now they're headed into. We can let these highlights play, I guess, again while we talk. But they're headed into Big 12 play on Thursday against a really good team.
That's true. Before we skip forward too, I forgot,
for it.
Yeah, this note that I have. This was also the return. I know you don't see it much, but Faith Wynn came back into this match. She was out with an injury that took place on August 25th. So it was really cool to see Faith come back. Again, that weird goal that we'll never know what happened. Maybe Faith, let us know. You can just send us a DM saying like aliens buzzed that ball.
If anyone's seen the replay and can send it to us, I would love to know.
We'll find out. And then she was subbed out after 80 minutes, and Sydney Obilovich came into the match, and I love that. I mean, we got to see so many different faces in this match, y'all. Like the impact players that came in, or game changers, if you will. Seeing some newer faces, but like Kendall Jones, Jules Burrows. Who else do we have? Paitlin Dias, Millie Elwood. The list goes on. It was really great seeing all of them continuing to grow our team collectively. But yeah, shout out to Faith and Sid on that. And yeah, we got Big 12 play against TCU on Thursday, which is going to be a big game for us. We're excited to begin Big 12 play. It's so weird with how quick soccer happens, but this is it, y'all. We're buckled in. So they have that match on Thursday, which is going to be nice because it's followed with some rest. They don't have a Sunday game, which is, good to have some of that rest time.
TCU's been off the week too, so no one can claim dead legs.
Both
teams are coming in off a week off. But TCU is a really solid team. They're coming off a loss, but it was to A&M. They put a whooping on Alabama at home to start the year. They're undefeated at home this year. They're similar story, right? They play really well at home. So if we, there's a narrative out there that we don't play well on the road, but is that true? We'll find, if we just played really good teams, Utah State and Penn State were both on the road. We won our exhibition on the road at Denver, who's been a solid team this year, really. When you look at Denver, they beat A&M, Denver did, during the regular season. So it's not like we're incapable of it. We just, our two best opponents, the Penn State game is everything that was going on that week. It was just like, hey, good luck, y'all. Change your whole game plan in a 24-hour span. It's tough to do. So that was what it was. Utah State, we talked about. Utah State is insane right now. They're 6-0. I mean, I hate that they beat us, but man, they're a fun story. They're my second favorite team in the year. I like to check on them every week.
She made it public.
They won 9-3 or something stupid last night.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they hadn't allowed a goal all year. They allowed 3 goals, but I think it was 9 or 7-3 or something. Some stupid scoreline. So they've been they're probably the story of the college soccer season, if we're being honest, when you count them being a mid-major. So now you have a chance to go on the road and get things started, and you have a lot of chances because it's 4 out of their first 5 games in Big 12 play. So 4 of their next 5 games are all on the road. But they do have, some time off. So, they had this past Sunday off. Mm-hmm. They don't have a game this next Sunday either unless they've rescheduled that Long Beach State game. I'm pretty sure that's gone.
Sure.
And so that's 2 weeks in a row with only 1 game, which is in some ways, it's like, dang, later in the year, you're going to wish your Big 12 bye came later. But I think it works in our favor just because we are still getting our chemistry down and our rhythm down because of all the changes in the injuries and stuff they've faced at the beginning of the year. That maybe more practice time is exactly what this team needs to play as least amount of Big 12 games in that time as possible. Give us 2 weeks of practice really, and then hit the ground running for the rest of Big 12 play without a break, with a lot of those being at home in the back half. It gives us a chance. I've said that from the beginning of the season. Like, when you looked at the schedule, it's like, you know what? That was before the injuries too, but that was when all the graduated players, it was like, hey, it could be an interesting beginning of the year. Could be a team that gets better as they go, but the schedule sets up really well for them to be playing their best soccer by postseason because of how it sets up with the games they have at home. But yeah, if you go to TCU, get a result out of that, and start off strong, those games are always fun. TCU and us always seem to play some fun games in some ways. I'm interested to see how that goes. Like, part of me is like, it could be a bit of an offensive outburst, or both teams might just, I don't know. But both teams have had weird years where they've had really dominant games and other games where they've kind of slipped up and allowed some weird goals. If I talked to one of my TCU friends, and he's like, yeah, well, sometimes we look great, and then sometimes we allow like a silly back-end goal. I was like, are you talking about us?
Sorry,
like,
I said
familiar,
your team,
so.
not...
Yeah, it sounds very familiar, so I'm interested to see how it goes. I hope a lot of Texas Tech fans, if you live in the DFW area,
for real,
go take a friend, because TCU is going to pack that place. If you've ever been to that field,
I haven't.
It's a really cool field. It's like it's like gladiator style where it's down.
Cool. Yeah. Is it all
And
concrete?
I've only been there
like
once, and it was when I
stone?
was working with a team, so I was way I was in college. And I remember, I think it was like an overtime game, and we won. It was good times.
Okay.
But their fans get really rowdy, and I think it's dorm night. So they're bringing all over the students from the dorm, like we talked about last week. So as many Texas Tech fans can go to that. Take your friends, take your family, everybody. Wear red and be loud and get some Raider powers going. Let our players know you're there for them, because obviously they play really well at Fort Walker, and they played really well last year on the road. They were undefeated, so let's keep that going this year. But it's a fun place to start. It's a little bit of a rivalry game to start off Big 12 play.
I think so too. Absolutely.
I'm excited for them to get out there and learn, and then go from there. You get a week off after that to get ready for Utah at home.
That's right. Yeah. Officially Hate Ray week. So I'm gonna start that.
Hate
now.
Ray. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm surprised
Ray,
he's not in
watching,
there. I'm shocked that he's not in this
okay.
chat right now.
I was waiting for him to post in, so
yeah,
maybe we'll just clip this and send it to him. But you're on our list. Yeah. So that's
beat
who
the
we got.
Lizards.
Shelby has some things, y'all, that she doesn't let go. And
I mean, they're not a horned frog. That's not a thing. We've been through this.
The Bearcats hates the K in Bearcats.
What are we doing?
Basketball.
What are we doing? It's like they just made up a promo one day, and they're like, let's just stick with it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Only when it makes sense for is baseball and softball, because K's. Other sports, what are we doing?
Okay. That's what we got for soccer. Get ready.
Go soccer.
Love soccer. Big fan. Love this
fun.
team. Lots of cool storylines. Y'all know how we do. But yeah, you want to move on to the 3-0 at the Red Rader Classic, Texas Tech volleyball, and talk about the vibes, dude. Like, overall, really hyped to see the squad. Like, yeah, it was nice. I love the 3-0. I think anything different wouldn't have been as good. So let's get into it.
Correct. The math does math on that.
That's what they call me. They're like, Sibby Math, that's her. Call her up for math.
Yep. Yeah, so I was able to watch all of these, not all of them live, but I did get to go back and watch one of the matches after it was over, just so I could see what was going on. But it's different. Yeah, this team's built different than maybe last year. That we're getting into it, so I'm not gonna sit here and make grand proclamations on volleyball yet. We don't know how the season's gonna go, but I like some things that we're seeing. I like the identity of this team. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like they know what they're good at, and they know what they're not good at, and they're not trying to pretend like they're something that they're not. They're like, yeah, we have some really scrappy defenders that play, really good on the back line. We're not always going to be able to overpower people or overblock people. They know that they are going to have to create long rallies against some of the really good teams in conference to have a chance to get points, and then to kind of wear them out, find their spots, and then take advantage of it and be efficient on their swings after those rallies get going. And I feel like that's what you see in these games. You're starting to see it. You can start the highlights if you want to. I can just talk through it, because there's three matches we got to play through. So Northern Arizona, one thing that has gotten them early is they've had some slow first sets in a lot of these matches this year. And again, I think all 3 of these were some slow. So that's something they can get better on. But they fought back in this one. You can see they're down 7-3 early in this. They end up winning this set, though. So that's something they're definitely going to have to work on as the season goes on, because against some of the better teams, you show up slow against them, you'll be down 15-2, not 7-3. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But you'll see a lot of defense, a lot of digging out, a lot of that. Hannah Borer
dunking on him.
Wasn't really known for like her offense as a setter. I feel like she was brought in here to be more of like a just run the offense type, but she snuck in some sneaky little kills herself. I love it.
I do too. It's always good to see.
I really like watching setting in volleyball. Like, I mean, Mia Wesley, just stupid.
Does it so well.
Just some power to her.
Oh yeah, her with those strike downs. There were some funny moments too with her, I think, that were so telling. Like everything that we talked about them with their interview was so clear. Like no lies detected. It was really hype to see them continuing to play together.
You'll see a lot of this was probably Mia's best match of the weekend, if I remember right. And she can do it from everywhere. Front row, back row, she'll attack. I think that was Reagan Engler. Good to see her. She's playing really limited minutes or limited sets right now. For them coming back from a certain knee surgery in the offseason, I believe. But when she gets out there, she's been good.
Yeah.
There's old Mia again. That's our transfer from Southern Miss. She's been really, really good. I think Hannah Borer is more of a run the offense type, Roger, in the chat. Versus there's nothing against Reese Rose. She's going to have a great year wherever she ends up, wherever she went. But I think it's just a different style that we're going for, because Reese was very offensive. Like, she was constantly looking for a shot. And I don't think that you're going to see that as much from Hannah, but because they were giving her the space, you'll see it in the second game. We can just go ahead and pull up the Florida Atlantic highlights. She had a career high, Hannah Borer, our setter, of 7 kills in this one because they were giving it to her. And so she was like doing no look behind the back. Tap. I'm talking. There was a no look behind the back kill in this highlight package from Hannah Borer. Absurd, just absurd stuff from her. So it's been good to see, but she has a lot of control over this. There's Mia Wesley from the back again. I don't remember us having a lot of back line kills last year. Do you?
Like how do you do that?
I don't remember us having that in our bag as much last year.
But
Bryn Williams, I really loved. You'll see her in the highlights. She's not having to carry so much on this team. Like having Bryn Williams as a spark plug type player that can come in when we need the juice and then just take over is kind of what she's done so far this year. Cool. If she gets in those matches and she can change things, that feels like a cheat code versus last year. She was having to take so many swings and she was wearing down. And you don't have to do that this year with Mia out there, with Emily Merrick, even Reagan Linen, who's a middle blocker, but she's been getting a lot of kills out of the middle. So I really love what we've seen from Bryn Williams this year. And a little bit of a different role, but a very important role.
Right. Yeah.
Emily Merrick was on the all-tournament team, just steady. She's very efficient. She doesn't take as many swings, but when she gets them, she seems like more times than not, gets the point for us when we need it.
Huge block.
Huge block.
Yeah.
I love the fire. Like, they weren't kidding about the sass.
I know. Yeah.
You saw that from the jump. I didn't see it. Maybe it's in this match where Bryn gets a block and then she runs. I thought it was in the first one. Maybe we just missed the highlight.
Or it was.
Yeah, it was in the first match. So I don't know why it was in the highlights. Or we just skimmed over it. But Bryn got a block in the first one. Was running around, and Mia was like too stunned to speak. Yeah. Little sneaky from Reagan Linen in the middle there. Reagan Linen was brilliant this weekend. I feel like that girl in our interview underplayed.
She did.
Her ability as a volleyball player. She's like, I'm just kind of here to do play and play at home.
We're gonna have to have them back on.
I'm gonna be a doctor, and all those things are true. I like coffee. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am.
Hello.
She was the MVP of this tournament, and she did everything for this team. And I think after the game on Saturday, Greystone said something along the lines of, we're kind of playing her as a middle blocker, but I don't even think that's her position. She's just playing where we need her. And you see that in her stat line, because her stat line for the weekend, she was the MVP of this tournament. She had 29 kills, 11 digs, 9 blocks, 8 service aces. She leads the team in that category, and only 2 errors amongst all 3 matches in this.
Unbelievable.
That's a wild line for a middle blocker, whatever you want to call her. She was really fun to watch. And now that people have seen that, they're going to start scouting that a little more. But that's not a bad thing. Like, cause she was just taking advantage. They were so worried about Mia, Emily, Bryn on the outside that there was these holes in the middle. And Hannah, credit to her, was setting her up perfectly. She would see it too. Like, it's just there's another level of experience and maybe IQ going early. Again, we'll see. That I'd love to see from this team early. But yeah, Reagan Linen was great. We have a quote from her later we can read.
Yeah.
This game was not good. And they will tell you the same thing. It was ugly. We had no business winning this match, except for we did. And that's a good thing, right? We had no business winning this match. I mean, Green Bay is probably like, how did we lose this match?
Or the game? Wait, the match is... Okay, yes.
The match.
The set...
The only set we played well enough to win, like, as far as, like, dominating, was probably set 1. We started slow and then came back, and we had, like, a 25-20. We'll see what it is at the end of this. We win set 1, and then we get pretty well dominated in the second set. Third set isn't going great either, and you're like, oh my gosh, I think we were down as much as 7 points in the third set, about to go down 2 sets to 1, first to 3 wins, mind you, and we storm back in this third set and get it done. Fourth set, we didn't start off very dominant either, right? It was like Green Bay just would not go away. They would not quit, and they're picked to finish. I think they finished second last year in the Horizon. They're a pretty solid mid-major. And they think they're going to make the tournament this year. So they're scrappy, but we didn't play well at times, but we came back. We didn't let us get it. That's that experience, is they just kept, like, fighting back. So the first set we won. So finally we played well enough to win a first set. I think we lost the one against Florida Atlantic, but we win this one. And then it just got a little bit tough in that second set. I think this even, you know how tough it was? It skipped the second set.
They skipped the second
set in the highlights. Don't see a single highlight from that second set. There were good plays. We did there were good moments in there.
Sure.
But overall, it was tough, and they'll admit that. And I'm saying that, and I'm making a point of saying that because we won the match. I don't know if last year's team wins when they're playing that poorly. And they just kept going, fighting through it in each match. And they were down big a few times and found a way to go on runs. Reagan out of the middle again. Bryn came in. A fresh Bryn, I'm telling you. It's a nice little cheat code we have.
When was this the game that Maddie Correa got her 1,000?
It was, we can pull up that highlight in a minute, but that was Friday night's game.
Friday night, okay.
Match.
I don't remember the call.
Sorry.
I know.
Mia Wesley came on strong towards the end, but I think she'll tell you it wasn't her best match of her life. But it was cool to see her, like, not let her get that ahead. I think Bryn came in for a while, and then you'll see Mia come in at the end of the match in set 4 and really kind of help us close it out. But I think you learn more about a player when they're not playing their best than you do when everything's going right. And I thought I learned some things about Mia Wesley in this match, that she doesn't really let it get her down. She's still like, hey, coach, someone else can go in there and do it right now. Let me have a breather or whatever. I'll get my head right and I'll be good to finish this off. And you kind of saw that from her in this. Reagan, the power. Oh, that was Bryn right there. Something I've noticed about Bryn is last year everything was like a scorcher, right?
Yes.
She was gonna either have an error, it was gonna be outside the lines, or it was gonna break the court. She had a little more finesse to her game on this one. You saw her kind of direct that over and just find the empty space on the court, and not just like she just kind of taps that over there instead of trying to murder the ball like she did last year. I think that's a sign of growth that we've seen from her, and it's allowed her to be a little bit more efficient early.
Right.
And she's come into these matches and spurred runs. Like, she's a big part of the reason we won this match and came back, is her energy that came in off the bench. I think she might be listed as a starter, but they rotate in, you know. So, yeah, she's playing in all 3 sets of every match. So
I love it.
Doesn't really matter who's out there to begin or not.
It's good to see. Love the hype.
Emily Merrick, again, she was all tournament team for a reason. Emily Merrick had 26 kills, 7 digs, and 5 blocks across 3 matches. She's just very efficient. She is not out there taking a lot of swings, but when she gets them, she's making the most of them, and when we need them most, like, it was big. She's had a lot of our game winning set winning
Yeah.
kills. I'm sure that's a stat they track. I feel like she's had a lot of them.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm loving seeing the end of this, like everybody's reaction of
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure they felt it. They know
Let's
they
get
know when they're not
outta
playing
here.
their best, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we did
let
it!
us wrap this up
we
and
did
get
it!"
home.
Because that was not their best volleyball in the world. There was a lot of like unforced errors, if you will.
Sure.
I think Coach Greystone talks about the passing. They need to clean it up in the post game presser, and yeah, but they found a way to win, and that's impressive. So that's those are the highlights. We can just let them play through again if we want to. Sure. But like I said, Reagan Lanning was the MVP of the tournament. She was great.
Sense.
She said she was quoted after the game, kind of just talking about like what her role is on the team, besides being a unicorn, because insane. But she said, for me, I'm just trying to hype up all the veterans, tell them we've got this, we've done this, we've been here before. Everyone stay calm and focus on what we can
She's
control.
that steady, dude.
That was after the Green Bay match, and that's what you saw is like these moments where we could have just nailed it in and said, not our day, not our day.
Right.
But they kept going in that. Yeah. Emily Merrick was all tournament team, and Hannah Borer was all tournament team as well. She's been really fun to watch this year so far. So a lot of people I said Bryn, Caitlin Cochran, you're seeing her. Mm-hmm. She's playing behind Hannah as a setter, but she got the full first set of this Green Bay match, and she played really well as well. So a lot of different people getting places, and I can pull up Maddie Correa's 1,000th.
The 1,000th dig.
Dig. We have 3 players that are playing on that back line that are getting like
hella digs. Yeah, really cool to see from Maddie, because she's the one that I look to after every point, because I want to see what Maddie's doing. She's like that. It's that hype. That's what I love the most about volleyball players, is who's hyping me up the most, and really exciting for her to get that. She is such a Red Raider. She gets it. She's been a part of this team, through some rough waters, and continuing to be a leader. So I love seeing this for her. What a huge accomplishment too in her career, that she's worked really hard at and been so successful.
Yeah, I mean, and that wasn't a cheap one either. One-handed dig.
Was that the 1,000th?
Yeah, right there. That's her 1,000th dig.
And the play is better dig by Correa. How's that for her 1,000th career dig?
Cool.
And then another one.
And now another one.
Please tell me we get this point.
We do. The point alive. Correa will look for the assist as well from Wesley.
Good block. Oh, so it's a volley.
To Rosado.
Wow.
Great dig from Abby.
Yeah.
And Emily Merrick does what she does and finishes it. But you saw a lot of that. Like I said, they're kind of talking a lot in these post-game pressers, if you will, about the identity of this team being defense. And you kind of saw that. You have someone like Maddie, who now has, she's a true Red Raider for life, right? Yeah. She's been here. And she's on that back line. But Abby Dickinson, a sophomore, has had really good moments. Emily Contreras on the back. All 3 of them coming in there. Yeah. And we're just extending these rallies, if you will, and waiting until it's there, wearing them down, and then finishing it. And I think that's something we're going to need to have, that identity. I think that's the right direction to go with the team that was picked last in the Big 12. How many times do we have to talk about it? But it comes up every time we talk about the team. We get it. But being scrappy, being tough, that never quit attitude that they showed this week, I think that's what you need to be able to prove people wrong. So I like it. I thought we saw some good stuff. Florida Atlantic is a solid program. They've been in the tournament before. They made the postseason last year, not the NCAA tournament, but the second, whatever the next tournament is after if you just missed the NCAA tournament. Like I said, the Green Bay was second in the Horizon League last year. Solid RPI wins, if you will. Solid confidence boosters. Got it done. Had another sweep, so you have 3 sweeps on the year. We had 3 sweeps all of last year. We talked about that last.
Nothing but up from
last week on our episode. Does that mean anything? I don't know, but we're taking care of business and the games that we can, and they'll probably tell you they wish there was another sweep in that, but they fought back in that Green Bay match and got it done against a really scrappy team. So next up, they have the UT Rio Grande Valley tournament. They're heading over to whatever town that's in.
No, wait.
No,
Sorry,
it's
that's
not. It's not there. But it's somewhere South Texas-y.
San Antonio.
But I don't know. You can look it up.
Edinburgh.
There you go. Edinburgh. Not like a lot of flashy opponents in that one, but it's a chance to go down there and
Take care
keep
of
getting
business.
better. Because if you remember last year, this is about the same time. I think last year we took our first road trip. This year we've already had a road trip and won 2, so hopefully we got that mental block out the way. But last year we went down to Denton and we lost both of those matches to UNT and ACU. So you can't let it sneak up on you. Keep getting better. UT RGV on Thursday at 6:30. Texas A&M Corpus Christi. They have a pretty good volleyball program actually. I think more maybe sand volleyball, but I assume their indoor volleyball is solid as well. Someone can go fact check me on that. I'm not going to pretend like I know for sure, but I feel like I've heard their name in the volleyball space before. So that could be a fun match. And then Houston Christian on September 13th as well. So we have 2 games on Friday. Should be streamed. I think I saw a little stream button on the schedule.
ESPN, baby.
All right. Gotta love you. I'll never
ESPN
hate
Plus.
on ESPN
I
Plus,
won't
seriously.
ever.
because
We have been there, Shelby.
They save our lives.
There
so
was a
much.
time in our lifetime that we never got to watch anything outside of like being there. So I am always a huge fan. Would love to pay that subscription.
And there was a quote after the Saturday match from Coach Greystone. You can go listen to the full press conference. We put an article on our website if you want to read through it as well. That kind of summarizes it. But he said, we've got to be much more consistent with our first touch. I think we're a good service team, a really good defensive team. Our blocks are getting there. And offensively, we're a lot more balanced. We run faster tempo this year. I like that we are scoring points. We are doing a much better job of that than a year ago, and we just have to get our first touch cleaned up. And that's of course that's a perfect assessment.
Right.
He is the head coach. And that's what you saw is like we had so many unforced errors on passing and overpasses that led to easy points and things like that in that Green Bay match, but they overcame it, got the dub. But yeah, if they can clean up that first touch, if you will, as he calls it, they could really then start cleaning up on some of these matches. And then it gets a lot tougher from there. After this week, they go to Miami, which if you listen to our interview with Reagan, Lynan, and Mia, they said they were both looking forward to that trip, and they play Miami, Arkansas, and maybe FIU, Florida International. In that trip, some solid volleyball programs for sure. And you get to learn about yourselves there, and then you start Big 12 play. It's not too long. Getting close.
That's what's up. That's volleyball. We're stoked. Go listen to that interview too if y'all haven't on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to us if you haven't already. Free content.
Please do.
This is
share it with your friends.
Subscribe. That really helps us out. Notifications if you can. Go to our website seeing-scarlet.com.
We're gonna try to pump out some more content for you when you can.
Some more content. Yeah. That helps us out a lot. So that's what we got to look forward to with volleyball and beyond. Anything else before we move?
We can wrap it up with the leaders on the season. Kills. Mia Wesley's leading the team with 88. Assist. Hannah Borer has 177. Diggs. Maddie Correa also 88. I'm wondering if one of those numbers is wrong because I feel like Mia has a lot more than 88 kills. But anyway, service aces. Reagan Lynan has 8 to lead the team. She got all 8 this weekend. She was on one.
Golly.
And then Aaliyah McDonald, who we didn't see as much, but she dominated up at the Boston College Invitational, was the all-tournament team there. Has 24 blocks on the season still. Didn't get as much run, I don't think, in this one. But that's just, we have a lot of depth in that position. That's where Reagan Lynan is. That's where Reagan Angler is. How many Reagans do we have in sports on this campus? And Aaliyah McDonald is another one that's going to keep finding her kind of rhythm with the team. Oregon State transfer. So she's been solid as well.
It's been huge. Yeah, that's what we got for volleyball. Shout out to volleyball. Keep doing the thing.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm enjoying getting to know volleyball. You know.
Yeah.
This is the most volleyball I've watched the last 2 years. I'll admit it. When I was in college, volleyball was not
on your
great.
radar. Yeah.
Well, I don't think they won a single conference game for like 3 years in a row or something.
It's hard.
So I went to a few, but that's not enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
I went there because I had some friends in the program and stuff, so I went and supported them. But it's fun to watch, when it's pretty and when they're doing what they're doing.
And hopefully having a better
It's a really
time.
exciting game. And I mean, there's some of the most athletic people on campus. This volleyball players. They can jump
like
up
Mia.
So get out to a match if you can next time they're home. It'll be a while till they're home again, but
they will get there eventually. But yeah, it is hype. Really cool journey to follow along with them so far. So speaking of journeys that we love following, football. we're learning a lot. And what we know right now is that Texas Tech went to Pullman, Washington, played against Washington State, lost 37-16. The first half, second half looked, a little different. But what were your thoughts, Shelby?
It wasn't a good football game. There's not really much to say. Like, we try to pull up the positives, and there were certainly positive individual performances in this game. You saw certain players flash here or there, but as a team, we just weren't in that game from the beginning. I'm not saying they didn't believe, but it didn't feel like there was a belief that we could win that game. Watching it or playing it from the jump, we fumbled the kickoff from the first play of the game. We get an interception right after that. Yay. Don't do anything with it. And then we have a chance at a fumble the next drive to stop them from scoring. We somehow don't get that. It was just it was an odd football game. It was in the comments. But yeah, it was soul searching, if you will. They're looking for their identity. You're just not gonna, here's the truth of it, guys. We'll just say it like it is. You're not going to win games. You have 10 penalties for 80 yards. You're not going to win games where you have basically 8 turnovers, 4 traditional turnovers, and 4 fourth down failed conversions. That's 8 turnovers. I think every single drive that Washington State scored on, I think I saw a stat was they had less than 51 yards was the longest field they had to drive. The field position was insane. We couldn't really stop them. Our defense did look better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it looked great.
Okay.
You give up 200 yards rushing to a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So we forced them not to throw deep on us because that's what we got killed at ACU. So yeah, people weren't running past us because our secondary was playing better or we were playing more people back. But the flip side was we couldn't keep any contained at all on the defensive line, and that quarterback, who's good, don't get me wrong, he's a good player. 200 yards rushing from a quarterback, not going to get it done. And then offensively, we had our chances, and we just didn't hit them. And then when we did hit them, they got called back. So I know a lot of people are mad at the offensive coordinator. Listen, I'm not getting into those conversations. Is what it is. But I feel like the opportunities were there. If we should have more opportunities, listen, you can go argue that. But I feel like the opportunities were there. I understood why we kept throwing screens, because by God, if we threw it down the field, we either turned it over or an offensive lineman held because we had to wait that long to throw it to get it downfield. I feel like the offensive coordinator kind of felt like, well, the only thing that's working is screens.
Okay.
So I kind of understand why we ran so many screens, but we can't do that. We need to be a little bit more
diverse in that way.
Diverse on offense moving forward if we want to have a chance. But it just wasn't pretty football, and I think that was the disappointing part for me. Is we're better than that. I think I tweeted something I didn't have a lot to say because I'm not gonna get on there and talk shit about the players because I think it's somewhere in the middle. When you have a game of that magnitude, it's on the players, but it's also on the staff. It's a combination, and they're going to get it better, hopefully, moving forward. But it's not that we lost. If they had gone up there and lost the game where both teams just played really good football, it happens. I'm very comfortable with football is as a program. We have not been a juggernaut for ever, really. We've had seasons here or there.
Right.
We're trying to build a program here.
Right.
I understand where we are. But what I struggle with is when you go up there and just play bad football. The brand is what we talk about, which I love. I'm not mocking it. I love that. I want that to be our identity, but that was not the brand. It's just why does that keep happening? Why are we dead last in penalties in FBS? We were pretty low on that last year, too. It's just one of those things until you clean that up, you're just not going to win. So I don't know what the answer is. I know what the problem is.
Sure.
But the answer is up to them. I'm not at practice. So I understand the frustrations. I'm just as frustrated with it as everyone, but I'm not going to sit out here and throw out you just have to fire this person or you just have to do this, because I really don't have those answers without being at practice and knowing what's going on. But I just feel like it's a case of we're focusing on the wrong things. Players are trying to do too much. I don't think it's a case of them not wanting to win. I think it's a case of them wanting to win too bad. And instead of just doing their job and letting the person next to them do their job and letting the person next to that person do their job, one person's trying to win the whole game on one play, and they're pulling a guy down by his face mask. When, hey, if you had just blocked him, that would have been a big gain, Don't try to be a hero. That's kind of what I saw, just an undisciplined team that was trying to do a lot of individual moments of heroism out there instead of just doing their job and being the brand. And I don't know. I just struggle with our football program. I love it. I'll watch them next week. I'll watch them every week.
Right.
But
That's
we
the
haven't had
thing.
an identity as a football team in years. And
you know.
everyone wants to lean on Mike Leach, and that's cool. Like, they showed a video of Mike Leach talking to the team from years ago, and I guess as a motivational speech. I don't know if you saw that video going around. And it was a cool video, but I'm just sitting there thinking, like, none of these players were on that team.
Know.
None of these players can talk to a teammate that was on that team. None of these players know what that culture was. They weren't in that culture. Like, we have to build our own culture.
Your own identity.
And I think Joey McGuire's trying to do that. That's the brand that everyone's, like, mocking and, like, yeah, that's the brand. It takes time. And until we actually have our own culture that we can rely on, instead of having to pull back clips from past coaches and past programs and all these things, like, it's just that consistency is going to struggle. So, I don't know. I just want to see progress. I don't... Losses happen. I just don't want to see a team that has that many penalties and just kind of boneheaded mistakes. There's no reason we should have lost
like
that
beating
game
yourselves kind of
at Washington State. That's the frustrating part, is like we just didn't play good at all, and we were still. I mean, there was even a moment we could have, if we gotten a 2-point conversion with 8 minutes to go, we were only down 2 scores, and we got the onside kick the next play. Like, we could have been going down the drive to tie the game. But there was a couple of moments in both those drives where we don't execute right, and it was that same stuff all game. So I could get on here and rant. I could. But there's not really much to rant about other than you got to stop having penalties. You got to stop turning it over.
Self-inflicted.
Got to be smarter about some of those 4th down calls. Some of them felt a little desperate, but at the same time, when your defense is just getting shredded, I guess I kind of understand the desperation. But some of them, I feel like we might not go for it as much in some of the 4th and long situations in the future. But you're still going to go for it. That's the identity of this team, and like you got to stick with it. Like, I feel like that's the issue. Is like, I don't know who they are. Do you know who Texas Tech football is? Like, if you had to define Texas Tech football in this era, like, who are they?
In this era, we don't know. And I think
exactly, everyone wants to say air raid and all that, but we're not that. I don't give a shit if we won 10-7 games. Like, stop caring about what the fans want. I really don't care. Whatever these coaches is their identity, I don't know what it is. If it's smash mouth football, go out there and beat people 10-7. I don't give a shit. Just like be who you are. Like, figure out who you are, be who you are, and then go do that is where I'm at with it. And that's what I hope we see the rest of the season. It's still a long season. Football's a real sport now in college. They have a real playoff. It's not like where you used to lose one game and your whole season was over.
Yo, that's true.
Believe it or not, no matter how interesting the Big 12 is going to be, if they somehow win the Big 12, they're still in the playoff and they're 0-0. But they're a long ways from being a team that can do that right now. But the talent is there. The injuries are starting to pile up, and that's concerning.
That's tough to see. Yeah.
The offensive line injuries in particular are very concerning. Taj Brooks,
Still
very
Taj Brooks,
concerning. But you should still play better football than what we've seen. That's where I'm at with it. I'm trying to be patient with it. There's still good moments. Certainly still good moments. Just like a lack of consistency, and I don't know who this team is. I haven't known who this team was for years, and that's not a shot at them. That's just the truth. There's a handful of programs on this campus that I trust because they've been there, done that. And there's a handful of programs on this campus that are still trying to figure it out. And football is just one of those. And I hope it's this group that does it. I hope they turn around the season and they stamp that identity, and next year's group looks back on this one, and so on and so forth. Like, it's there for them, but it's got to start with them in that locker room. And I think you kind of heard Barron say that after the game, which I appreciated. It's kind of they know who they are in the locker room, and that's all that matters, and that's the truth. So you got a chance to do it at home. I hope fans stick with them. I know it's an early kickoff, but be there, be loud. They need you more. They need you more now than they do when everything's going well. So don't abandon them. It's okay to point out things, but don't abandon them. They're still Red Raiders.
Yeah, that's how we roll. You know, passionate fans in all directions is what I've noticed. And yeah, I think you said it really well, and I love that you're like the reflection of culture doesn't happen overnight, and like the identity of this team, and what's it going to be like when they do have that trust with each other to like if I do my job, my guy next to me is going to do his job, and collectively it's going to.
It sounds simple, but
well, it's not. I mean, the simple act of trust, but I think that's what I've always leaned on, and especially with our football coaches. It's just been such a roller coaster. I think in our generation, just coaching in general, but in our football program too. And I've always really, really enjoyed Joey, and I stay skeptical, dude. You know me, and I'm always just like,
he's a good person.
I don't know.
I believe.
But what
that.
I can respect from Joey is like that understanding, and I know there's so much heat going around the internet, and I empathize with that position and being the leader of that. But I have so much trust in like what he is building, and I think this season could be really special in the way that we see early adversity like we do. Like, this isn't a new story. I think what's really special about this time is like when you can look back and say like, I had this team through all of it. And like we're in it because we're in it, you know, like that's just the reality. You can't change anything right now other than like try to prepare yourself better for the future. And it sounds like they're all on the same page with that. And I'm stoked for them to give North Texas the business, and that's on September 14th. Shelby said it. Get those mimosas ready. 11 a.m. kickoff.
It's early. It's the one time I like being on the East Coast.
Hey, that's the truth. We get that extra hour.
Present for us over East Coasters that were up until 2 a.m. watching the Washington State game.
Dude, that was tough.
That was tough. I was still there. Red Raider for life, guys. I'm going to support them.
That is
so
true.
Them, looking for signs of growth. It's there. I mean, I don't blame people for not having a lot of belief right now because of what they've seen in 2 games. And like I said, it's not because it's like the talent's there, just the execution's not. And it's like, why? What are we doing that's not there? But they can fix it in theory, because that's a lot of statistics. It's when you're shooting yourself in the foot. If you just put down the gun,
statistically,
you
we
can
still
stop
win.
shooting yourself in the foot. You know what I mean? Just step away and just play football. But that's easier said than done. So I understand the need to see it to believe it attitude from some people right now. But I hope that doesn't stop you from getting to the game, stop you from supporting them. I think this is a different sport, but we talked to Ashley Williams in her interview, and she said it. She said, hey, fans matter, and they matter even more when things aren't going good. She said something along the lines in her interview about the soccer team, and it's the same with football. It's the same with every sport. So I hope everybody's there and helps them get back on track and get some mojo going, because they have a stretch of games here that they can win, and all of a sudden you can be on a 3-game winning streak if you get it going, you know?
That's right.
And you're right back in the hunt. But yeah, they just gotta stop shooting themselves in the foot. I'm sure there'll be a lot of evaluation this week to do that. It's their jobs. Joey wants to win more than anybody. He's not just sitting around throwing darts or something. So we just gotta let them do it, you know, and they gotta get healthy. At some point, the injuries are just gonna be too much to overcome.
Know that life.
So I'm a little concerned about the way these injuries are tagging up. That's probably my biggest concern right now, more than anything.
Get healthy.
Now, if this type of play continues, I'm going to have more concerns, but I'm not going to jump the shark to that quite yet. But the injuries, as far as like the actual outcome of the season, are my biggest concern right now, because that is something that eventually, I mean, we saw it with women's basketball last year. Eventually, there's just too much that you can't.
We saw it with
can't
soccer this
overcome
season.
It. Yeah, like it doesn't matter how well you play or execute. Like, you just don't have the dogs out there to play. Then what are you going to do? But they have enough right now still. But they should be able to get it together, as long as some of them, like Taj, can get back hopefully in the next week or two. Barron can play Barron football. I think he knows that he missed some opportunities in that, but he still threw for over 300-some yards. He'll want a few of those throws back. And our defense has to just play assignment football, and we can do it. So we'll see. You got to win on Saturday. I don't want to be on this show next week talking about a UNT loss.
Oof. Let's not.
I might just log off Twitter if that happens.
Yeah, you should, honestly. That for your
save
yourself. Save yourself.
I hope that's what the team does. So.
That ain't gonna happen.
It's not. We're gonna beat the Mean Green.
I think you taught me this a long time ago, like when we first started this.
Bless you.
I know. And maybe you didn't, or you said something different, but I took it in a totally different way. But until it's statistically impossible.
Oh yeah, that was just like last week. So until someone
20
tells
years
us
ago.
it's mathematically impossible, it's still possible. And
Yeah,
don't give
I'm
me that
all
shit.
on that train, dude. I am
0-0 in Big 12 play.
I'm all aboard. I've
seen it from other teams in conference. Kansas State lost to a freaking FCF school last year. And didn't Kansas State go to the Big 12 championship, or was dang near close last year? And they lost to an FCS. No, I'm talking Oklahoma State lost to an FCS school last year in their non-con, and then made it to the frickin' Big 12 championship, or dang near close to it. I'm pretty sure they made it to it. Like, it's very much in front of them, but they just gotta be better. They gotta play better football. That's the truth. It's pretty case point simple. I don't have much else to say, but I'll be there watching. I hope we have more fun to talk about next week, and a nice dominant dub would be great.
That would be great against North Texas at home in Lubbock. Get there, and then they'll have Arizona State, which we'll talk to y'all before then. But what's next is Arizona State also at home. So hype for them, hype for the football squad. Let's go. You know, I'm in.
It's only up from here.
We're in. You know, y'all don't have to ask.
Yeah, we'll
but that's what
no matter what. But
that's what we got, y'all. Yeah, I don't think anything else. Dude, sometimes when we have these shows, it's like, oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes did this, or
we don't have any really
softball
random
did
one-offs.
this.
I know golf is getting underway. There's a couple of tournaments going on right now. Men's golf is in second place at the Inverness Invitational. Auburn is in first. They're right ahead of Virginia. So that's men's golf doing the thing. Lady Raiders have a coaching clinic with Krista Gerlich. They just put out registration for in October. So any coaches listening or people interested in getting into coaching,
I would. Do you
what
have
better way to do it than listen to her? Civi, you should
be a
fly to
coach?
Lubbock and get into that.
Krista.
There's probably some sort of baseline of requirements, but I don't know. I bet if you applied, they'd let you in.
Oh, true. They'll be like, okay,
whatever.
let this idiot in.
And I'm just scrolling the timeline of other things, but that's kind of the gist. Tennis they have a tournament this week. Women's tennis. Back at fall ball kind of life. Softball will be starting fall ball within the next month. They're doing a hitting clinic today.
Cool.
But I think, if you want to go watch softball, I think when we listened or talked to Coach Glasgow in an interview, he said, like, practice is open. So I don't know when the practices are, but I'm sure if you called them up, they tell you, and you can just go watch them hit some yabooms in the fall if you're getting eager.
Give old Jerry a ring. He talked to you, probably.
I wasn't saying call him. Call the school.
Oh, I see.
They would tell you or tweet
People
them.
don't call on the phone anymore. Come on, Shelby.
Yeah. I mean, Jerry Glasgow would probably pick up the phone.
Jerry
and
Glasgow
answer.
would. He would call every single season ticket
if
holder.
he had
and be like,
every
listen.
single, he would call you personally and let you know for sure.
I
He's
love
that
that.
kind of guy. But that's
cool.
kind of the gist.
Around the
Everything's
horn.
starting to get going, and next week let's come back. I mean, soccer. If they get a draw or a win, that's big time on the road
It's
to
huge.
TCU. Either way, you're getting better from that game. So I hope we're talking about a lot of wins. Another undefeated week for volleyball, hopefully. And if we come back next week, what are we gonna do if we
all
go
undefeated?
5-0 on the week?
Oh my gosh!
What are we gonna do for the people?
For some reason, I think like having a rap battle has been floating around, but I don't want to do that.
I don't actually think that would be a reward for the people.
But I have a feeling that any suggestion anybody has, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, if you made it this far in the thing,
unless it's like
drop it in the comments, send us a message, tell us what you want to do if Texas Tech goes 5-0 between volleyball, soccer, and football this week. Soccer being the heftiest battle of those, but still, if it happens, we'll do something. I'll wear a party hat or something.
Yeah, they're
very exciting.
That's what they're gonna ask. Yeah.
Anyway,
all
right.
That sounds great. 5-0 next week. Let's hear it.
Follow,
Can't wait.
subscribe, tell your friends.
Please. Do
Wreck
that.
'em.
Wreck 'em, y'all. Thank you.